Yeah, they talk about the Puffy situation sometimes.
Yeah.
So is that such an allure? Like, what's the issue? Like, does it bother you that comes up a lot? That people think that, associate that with your name?
No, it doesn't happen anymore. In fact, I spoke to Puff this morning. Wow. The thing that nobody ever talks about to me, and whether it be the Nas, J beef, or thing with Puffy, is that could have turned into a jail, guns, this, that, and the third.
Yeah.
When there's mutual respect, I respect Puff, man. I've always respected him. I've known this guy. I was thinking about this. I was in his office. He had a Bobby Brown cutout, a life-size Bobby Brown cutout, like Bobby Brown, like a 5'5" Bobby Brown thing. Where you put, the CDs would be in
like the in-store,
like right? Like pull a CD from his vest and shit. And well, I was in his office when Magic Johnson announced that he had AIDS. So it was like 92 or 91. Wow. Like, and I heard You Remind Me. I heard the soundtrack for it was called Go Natalie at first.
Strictly Business.
Yeah. No, it wasn't Strictly Business.
Go Natalie. Now she was a stripper.
Go Natalie was the first name of the movie. And then it was the first Halle Berry thing.
Strictly Business then.
Was that Strictly Business? Yeah. Okay. Now, it was originally called Go Natalie.
Yeah.
And I heard that soundtrack. And it was just like I've known the man from that long. And like the fact that we went through that thing and Hate Me Now and
But what was it? Did he ask to be taken out the video and you wouldn't take him out of the issue?
I didn't take him out. Sony spent $1 million, man. There's a guy named Donnie Ienner, this guy who was a racist pig at Sony running Columbia, running Columbia. You know, this is the same guy who dropped Alicia Keys, who dropped 50 Cent. He was just a complete asshole. And like, he spent $1 million to make this video, even though he's charging Nas $875,000 of that $1 million. But at the time, nobody really knows that, to be honest with you.
Yeah.
You know, and like, he wasn't going to let that scene of the guys on the cross come out. That was half of $1 million.
Wow.
Puff wanted it. I was trying to go back and forth to keep it in, but, you know, I didn't ultimately have the call. I was a 26, now I'm 27 years old. Now, I definitely like that version for sure, but it wasn't like it was my decision. I could be like, no, put that in versus, I didn't have that kind of control.
But we remember even culturally, like he's a fan watching on TRL when they debuted the video.
Yeah, it was a TRL, yeah.
It was like Driller, like it was like a big reveal.
It was a big, yeah. It was a big deal. And that's, you know, it's unfortunate. And like the first thing I had him do, man, when he had to call my mom. And he called my mom. He didn't know my mom. He called my mom, and because I needed to get my mom, she knew I was in a, you know, like you don't want your mom thinking you're in a business where you could die anytime and all that kind of shit. Meanwhile, you could back then. I didn't want her to feel that feeling, and you know, it took years, and then we got to a place where we respect one another, and I respect him. And you know, it was challenging for me, man, to feel like I was gonna be the person that was a victim walking around and, you know, the butt of a joke or whatever. But that actually motivated me to be like, I'm never gonna be known as that guy. I'm gonna put fucking numbers up. You know, like a guy who misses a shot and he's like, you're not gonna remember me for missing that game winner.
Yeah.
Like, I'm just gonna put numbers up. And I just started putting up numbers. Boom, 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 boom.
Did Puff not just want to be in the video at all? Like,
no, he didn't want to be in that scene. He had a reverend came in and thought it was sacrilegious that he was on a cross. It's like, well, then why'd you get on the cross?
Right.
But, you know, you brought the priest in too late. But anyhow, you know, that was it. That was really it. 4 guys walked in.
But it wasn't. I'm sorry, go ahead. I'm sorry.
Yeah, 4 guys walk in. They jump me in the office. TRL's on that 3-0, whatever time it was. They're in my office after that. And that was 99.
I always said, Steve, back then people were sending facts, and that's when you knew something was real. And there was already facts, and like there was an incident or something that happened. Like, that's the culture.
It was tough. I mean, it was tough for me to deal with. And you got to know And if there's anybody that I could touch with this, is like you go through adversity, and it's through that adversity do you find who you really are. And I'm not the type of guy to run around and use my money to hire an army of killers or do some crazy.
Yeah.
I'm not that. I felt like that, but that's not really who I am. I'm not that type of person, man. I want to build a great business and do great things in this world. I don't want to, let my ego get me locked behind bars.
Yeah.
Because I felt was I disrespected? Absolutely. That I felt disrespected? Yeah. I had to figure out a way to like not let that define me.
Yeah.
How did y'all get to a better place?
How do we get to a better? It took years.
So it wasn't about people.
I remember it took years. I remember one time nobody could fix that. It was us, and he was very, very adamant to fix it, and the guy. We would speak on a regular basis about. We would talk about it. We would talk about what we are, what we mean. He's never, ever, ever told me no. If I ask him for anything, he always says yes. He's never, ever told me no. It's just like you meet people and you get like that aside, the level of respect. It's like Nas and Jay. It's like,
oh, we're gonna get to that.
When the respect is so strong, like you can't. You got to think about the marathon. You got to think about the biggest picture. And I think that's what we did.
You didn't want to sue him or anything like that,
huh?
or you didn't want to like sue him or
sue him to kill him. That's how you feel,
right?
Yeah. But the perception was that you got paid, and then that made things cool somewhat, and you guys had made up fast. But you're saying it took a long process to get.
It took years.
Yeah.
Years. There's no trust. By the way, he'll tell you the kind of person he was back then. He wasn't the man he is today.
Yeah.
But by the way,
well, young hotheads, a lot of energy.
Young hothead, a lot of energy, this, that, and the third. And you know what? Blazing new trails. Changing the world.
But did it affect your relationship with Nas? Because I remember like a song like Last Real Nigga Alive.
It affected my relationship with Nas, definitely.
In what sense?
I didn't know who was supporting me. I didn't know who. When you go through that type of thing, you don't know who on your side, who's against you. You gotta go through that process.
Yeah.
And yeah. And like that, we went through that.